Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, we are live now. Good morning, CMA final students. And yes, we are going to continue our live session on cost and management audit. So, good morning, Vivek, Prakash, Sneha, Pramod, Varun, Saurabh, Swati. Good morning. Please confirm if I am audible and clearly visible to all of you. Please confirm once in the chat box if I am clearly visible and audible. Is my voice amply audible? Am I clearly visible to all of you? If yes, then we are going to start one of the small study notes, but an important study notes of your syllabus, which is professional ethics. Yes, I've got a confirmation. Ram Charan Konidala. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning, everyone. So I am audible and visible to all of you. You've confirmed, and today we are going to start one of the most important uh, study notes of our syllabus, guys. But yes, it's a small study note, but yes, a mandatory question comes from this particular study note. Almost in all the examinations, a question has come from this study note. It is a very important study note which we need to take up today. This study note is study note related to professional ethics. Okay, professional ethics, that is the study note which you are going to deal with today. Study note number 4 as per your study mat of the institute. And this particular study note is really important right from the beginning, right from, so I'm teaching cost audit since syllabus 2008. When syllabus 2008 was there, I first taught cost and management over there. So guys, right from syllabus 2008 to now syllabus 2016, the transition happened with syllabus 2012. This particular chapter has been ever so important. A mandatory question from this chapter is must in the examination. Okay, it's a must in the examination. Yes, maybe 4 marks, 5 marks, 6 marks, not a lot of marks, but yes, a mandatory question. And the chapter is small, so there's no question that you will forego those 4 5 marks, which will come handy to all of you in the examination. So the chapter which you're going to start today is professional ethics. So guys, first let's understand what do you mean by professional ethics. And before even coming on to professional ethics, let me make you understand what do you mean by ethics. Guys, the word ethics has been derived from a word ethos, and the meaning of this word is behavior. The behavior which is an acceptable behavior as per the societal norms, that is known as ethics. Ethics is rightness, something which you do correctly, something which you do rightly, as per your morals, as per your integrity, honesty. All these are ethics. So no law will tell you that be honest. Okay, no law will tell you be have integrity while you are dealing with your people. Have good behavior, good mannerism, have courtesy. All these are basically imbibed in our behavior. No law will prescribe that you should do this. But guys, instead of cost accountants of India, instead of chartered accountants of India, and instead of company secretaries of India, have prescribed certain behavioral aspects also, which are mandatorily to be followed by all the professionals. And these behavioral aspects, while dealing at professional front, are known as professional ethics. So professional ethics are nothing but behavioral norms which you should follow while carrying on your work as a professional, while carrying on your work as a CMA, cost and management accountant, while you carry on your work as a cost and management accountant. Of course, you have to follow the rules. Of course, you have to follow the cost accounting standard. Of course, you have to follow the Companies Act 2013 provisions. Of course, you have to follow all the law of the land which are prevalent for cost and management accountants. Of course, all those things are a must because they are law of land. But in addition to those things, instead of cost accountants of India have prescribed certain professional ethics which are mandatorily to be followed by each CMA while conducting his professional work. So the conduct, the behavior which is expected out of a CMA are all prescribed under professional ethics. So guys, you are studying in group 4. You are a group 4 student as of now. The next stage will be that you'll be a professional CMA, you'll be a qualified CMA, and then you will get your membership. While you get your membership, guys, you will be asked to sign a code of ethics. This is that code of ethics. So if you want to be a member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, you have to sign the code of ethics which are prescribed by the institute, and you have to abide by them. You have to follow them. If you don't follow them, then Institute of Cost Accountants of India is going to definitely reprimand you, may even prosecute you in extreme circumstances. So these are behavioral aspects which are expected out of every professional. They are known as professional ethics. To give you a very, very simple and a very, very a simple example, advertisements. You have seen a lot of advertisements on television, right? So all those advertisements are there to promote people, okay? To promote products. Good products are promoted using those advertisements, okay? Now the catch is that, guys, you must not have seen any advertisement of a CMA on television, or a banner which is a hoarding which is there on the main road, which says that, okay, we are the team of cost accountants, please get your cost audit done from us. Or for that matter, we are a team of chartered accountants, please get your statutory done from us. Or for that matter, we are a set of company secretaries, please get your secretarial work done from us. Similarly, guys, you must not have seen doctors banners kept in such places. You must not have seen Fortis Healthcare hospital or Max Hospital advertising on public media, on public platform. You must not have seen them. Why, sir? Why? Is it that they don't need advertisement? Please write in the chat box whatever is your answer. Do you think that there is no requirement of advertisement for Fortis Hospital, for Max Hospital, for chartered accountants, for company secretaries, for cost accountants, for engineers? They don't need advertisement. Is it that? Please write in the chat box whether they need advertisement or not. Please write in the chat box whether they need advertisement or not. These are all these professionals, right? Like doctors, engineers, cost accountants. Do they need advertisement? We have not seen any advertisement of a doctor or of a yes, we might have seen some those doctors, like who are doing some some local banners, okay, on local walls. Sometimes through a paint they painted their name, that something like Baba Bengali is having some jadoo tona sort of things, but not a cultured or civilized form of medicine is never advertised. It is not advertised. So do you think that they don't need advertisement? Do you think that big doctors, they don't need advertisement? Big hospitals, they don't need advertisement? And yes, everyone is saying yes, they need it. Yes, they also need it. Varun Gupta says they need it. Prakash says they need it. Absolutely. Shiva is absolutely right. Shiva says need but restricted by respective association. So guys, everyone needs advertisement. Everyone needs advertisement. Whether it's me, whether it's you, you also need advertisement. So how would we need advertisement? Guys, once you qualify your CMF final, once you qualify your group 4, then your advertisement will be your CV, your curriculum vitae, your biodata, your resume. That will be your advertisement. You have to advertise yourself, your positive points you have to highlight in that resume, so that companies are able to pick you up in the campus. That is your advertisement. Okay, they need advertisement. Everyone needs even I need advertisement. Even I need to be live on my YouTube channel to be present, to be able to communicate with you. So even I need advertisement. Everyone needs advertisement. But the whole and sole point is, professionals are not allowed to advertise, because it is against their integrity. It is against their code of conduct. So when a doctor gets a degree of medicine from the recognized university or institute, they sign a declaration, we are going to follow code of ethics of this particular profession. They have to follow the code of ethics of that particular profession. So what is the harm? What is the harm in advertising by a good doctor? What is the harm? Guys, it doesn't look nice. It would be against the ethics. It would be against the integrity. It would be against the dignity. The dignity will be compromised. Assume a situation where Bipasha Basu, the famous leading Bollywood actor, comes and tells you, oh, do you have cancer? Then please visit the super specialty nursing home which is located at so-and-so place and treat your cancer. So, these things don't go well. They don't match, somewhere dignity is lost. Somewhere dignity of that particular profession is lost. Somewhere the integrity of that particular profession may be compromised, because people might not stop at a certain point, because creativity is immense in the advertisement area, right? Creativity is immense. Since the creativity is immense, therefore, guys, it is difficult to draw a line where integrity is labs and where integrity is not labs. And therefore, all these professions have regulated their members, their professionals, and they say that no, a doctor cannot advertise, a chartered accountant cannot advertise, a CMA cannot advertise. Okay, that is why advertisement is restricted through code of conduct. So before we move further, please hit a like button. Those who have joined just now, yes, I can see a lot of people who joined just now. Just hit a like button, guys, on this particular video, and do share this video with a lot of friends so that they can join in live. You can ask questions from me if you have any from this particular chapter, although this is a pretty straightforward and simple chapter, so you might not have a lot of questions out of it. So let's start the chapter and let's see what is the overview of this particular chapter. What all are we going to study in this particular chapter? So first thing is objectives. We are going to study the objectives of Code of Professional Ethics. Why is Code of Professional Ethics necessary? What are the objectives? Second is fraud. What are the responsibilities of the cost auditor with respect to fraud? How should fraud be reported? So not very much related to this particular topic, because fraud is a different topic altogether, but has been incorporated in this particular topic because cost auditor is also required as per Companies Act to report any fraud which is visible in the cost audit. Now, please tell me, guys, in the chat box. Please tell me, guys, in the chat box. My question to you, your hands, your fingers on your keyboard, okay? Detecting fraud is the primary objective of audit. Detecting fraud is the primary objective of audit. True or false? Please write in the chat box, okay? Please write your answer in the chat box. Detecting frauds is the primary objective of audit. Please write your answer in the chat box. True or false? True or false? Detecting fraud is the primary objective of audit. True or false? Sarvesh says true. CMA student says true. Prakash says true. Sneha says false. Durga says false. Very good. Vasantha Lakshmi says false. Good. Who else? Shiva Kadagala says false. Yes, guys, this is false. Auditor's primary responsibility is not to detect errors and frauds. The primary responsibility, the primary duty is to express an opinion on the financial statements, whether they disclose true and fair view or not. That is the primary objective. Although, while the operation of audit is being carried on, if during the course of audit some fraud is detected or some fraud is observed, then there's a responsibility of the auditor to report such fraud. But primarily, the auditor is not there to cull out fraud, to detect fraud. The primary objective is to give opinion on the financial statements or the cost statements, right? That is the primary objective. It is secondary objective to detect errors and frauds, not the primary objective, okay? Please do remember, with respect to audit, it is not the primary objective of the auditor to detect errors and frauds. Then we are going to then come to misconduct. What are the kinds of misconduct, behavioral misdeeds that you need to avoid? Misconduct can be professional misconduct or other misconduct. Now, one very important thing which is to be noted over here is, guys, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, once you become member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, then it is not only going to regulate your professional behavior, but it is also going to regulate your personal behavior, which means what you do in your personal life, that will also be bothered by Institute of Cost Accountants of India. They're going to monitor your professional misconduct as well as your personal misconduct. Other means personal misconduct. I'll give you an example. So suppose you are a cost accountant, you are a very hardworking cost accountant, you've secured all India rank in your CMA final, you are working in a very, very big company as a cost director of that particular company. Now, there was a female employee under you, and you harassed that female employee outside office work, okay? Outside office. So, beyond office hours, say on weekend, Saturday or Sunday, you gave a random call to that colleague of yours, and you harassed or, made some inappropriate comments about that particular girl, about that particular female colleague of yours. Guys, this misconduct is not professional misconduct. It is your personal misconduct. But institute has all the right to reprimand you on your personal misconduct also. If you professionally do some misconduct, then of course there is a levy on you on that particular account, reprimand, prosecute, penalize, everything will be there. But even at your personal front, the institute is going to regulate you. So why is institute disturbing our personal front? Who is institute to regulate us what are doing in our personal life? It is our personal life, it is our personal choice. We can do whatever we want in our personal life. Why is institute regulating our personal life? The reason is very, very clear. When an individual commits any offense, then the headlines in the next day's newspaper is not that Mr. XYZ harassed his female colleague. The headlines goes to say a CMA harassed a professional colleague. This is what is the big impact of you doing any misconduct. You will hamper reputation of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. You are brand ambassador of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. You are a brand ambassador. On your shoulder, you're carrying the burden of reputation of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. If you do not follow it properly, then you are going to not only tarnish your reputation, but also tarnish Institute's reputation. Since you are the flag bearer of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, once you qualify, Institute is definitely going to regulate your personal misconduct also. Along with your professional misconduct, the Institute is also going to regulate your personal misconduct. So that thing will also be regulated by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. And that is the reason why we are going to discuss two kinds of misconduct: professional misconduct and other misconduct. Now, professional misconduct can be further split into two parts: professional misconduct, which is done by members in practice, and professional misconduct, which is done by other members. Over here, other members means members who are there in service. Okay, so there are only two possibilities once you qualify your CMA. Either you choose to work for some company as a cost accountant, as a cost director, or as a cost person. Either you choose to become a employee of a particular company, then you will be categorized as member in service, or you choose to take COP, certificate of practice, and practice as a cost accountant, that is known as member in practice, right? So professional misconduct will regulate both member in practice as well as the other members. And as far as other misconduct is concerned, personal misconduct, guys, that misconduct will be common for both. Okay, that will be common for both the people who are in practice and for the people who are in job. Both of them will have the other misconduct repercussions. Okay, so other misconduct is not divided into two parts. Professional misconduct is divided into two parts. One is professional misconduct, which is done by members in practice. Second is professional misconduct, which is done by other members. And for other misconduct, it is common for all. Okay, sir, got it. Then what are the adjudicating authorities who are responsible to take hold of if any disciplinary action is required to be done against the member, if his membership is required to be cancelled, if he is required to throw away out of the profession, then who is going to do that? Who are the adjudicating authorities? So if the misconduct is related to Schedule 1 misconduct, so guys, we are going to shortly study two kind of schedules which are there in our act. Okay, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. Scheduled 1 are the simple or minor mistakes, minor misconduct, okay, small misconduct. And Schedule 2 are major mistakes. They are the major misconduct, the severe misconduct, that is Schedule 2. So Schedule 2, minor misconduct. If you have done any misconduct which is specified in Schedule 1, that is referred as minor misconduct, and your case will be decided by Board of Discipline, which is headed by Institute of Cost Accountants of India members. Okay, but if you have done any major misconduct which is specified under Schedule 2, this is major misconduct, then you are going to be charged by disciplinary committee of the institute. And guys, let me tell you, disciplinary committee doesn't only have people from the institute, but it also has people from outside the institute, like big lawyers, retired judges, because the offense is huge. Therefore, disciplinary committee takes charge of the Schedule 2 misconducts, which are major misconducts. Schedule 1 misconducts are the minor misconducts. And yes, we have both these schedules in detail in our syllabus, and in this video we are shortly going to discuss both these schedules in brief. Next is some sections which are related to penalty, guys. Okay, these are some sections which are related to penalty. what kind of penalties can be, what are the penal sections, what are the offenses which will attract penalties. So section 24 to section 28. Section 24, falsely claiming to be a member. If you are not the member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, but you're telling the world that yes, I am a member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, then you are falling under this particular category. So guys, many students and many of you will also be doing this in near future. When you qualify a CMA, you are very happy, your family is elated, your entire ecosystem is very, very happy, right? You're very, very happy when you become a CMA, when you qualify your finals and you become a CMA. You're very, very happy. Immediately the first thing that you do is you change your social media account's name and you write CMA so and so. So if Shiva Godagale, Kadagale, if Shiva Kadagala is there, then he will write his name as CMA Shiva Kadagala. Vivek Lambhate will write his name as CMA Vivek Lambhate. Siddharth Pokhrel will write his name as CMA Siddharth Pokhrel. Gautam Gupta will write his name as CMA Gautam Gupta. Sneha will write her name as CMA Sneha. Durga will write her name as his name as CMA Durga. So on and so forth, right? This is wrong. Okay. We understand your emotions, although you are happy, you've qualified your CMA. We understand your emotions. Institute is privy to or is cognizant of the fact that you are very, very happy. That's very true. We understand your emotions, but guys, strictly speaking, you are doing an offense which is punishable under section 24. Just by qualifying your CMA final, you do not get membership of the institute and you do not get right to use these three words CMA before your name. No, you cannot get it. You don't get it. You don't get the right to affix this name CMA before your name because you are not the member of the institute as yet. Strictly speaking, refrain yourself from writing those three words before your name unless until you get the membership. 2-3 months more, wait, please write your name after you get the membership. So yes, section 24, falsely claiming to be a member is an offense which is which attracts penalty. 25, awarding degrees on behalf of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. You award degrees on behalf of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. So guys, what happens is still there's a lot of illiteracy in India, right? People are unaware. So what happens is, and this is a real incident which happened in Institute of Cost Chartered Accountants of India. This is a real incident which I'm quoting to you guys. A very small village of a backward state of India. That village had a person. He used to print degrees in the name of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and give it to people on payment of certain fees. He used to conduct examination of Institute of Cost Accountants, Chartered Accountants of India at his home. Yes, he used to conduct examination. He used to award marks. Formally, he used to conduct all the things that made other people feel that he is authorized to issue certificates and degrees of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. But his entire racket, his entire scam came to light when his degrees were unearthed. So yes, it's an offense. If you're awarding degrees on behalf of Institute of Cost Accountants of India or in the name of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, if you're awarding degrees, it's an offense. You cannot do that. You cannot award degrees on the basis of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Ronik Banerjee says, me, sir. Okay, CMA Ronik Banerjee. I think this is what Ronik is saying. CMA Ronik Banerjee. Okay, yes, Ronik, you're going to become a CMA in this particular attempt. CMA Ronik Banerjee. Okay, awarding degrees on behalf of the institute, it is a offense. Section 26, companies not to practice cost accountancy. So, practice of cost accountancy is to be done only by partnership firms. A company is strictly prohibited from providing services with respect to cost accountancy because of the corporate wheel which exists between the shareholders and the company. Okay, so it is an offense if company is practicing cost accountancy in its own name. Cost accountancy can only be practiced by a partnership firm. Section 26, unqualified person signing the document. So if there's an unqualified person who is not qualified enough, who's not a cost accountant or a partner of a cost accountant, if he signs documents, he's not a cost accountant, but still he's signing the documents, it is an offense. Section 28 refers to offenses by the companies. If companies commit any offense in appointing the cost auditor. So guys, please refer to my earlier video where I had discussed the appointment of cost auditor section. Okay, if company commits any offense with respect to appointment of cost auditor or following the um, norms which are there with respect to audit, etc., then it will be penalized under section 28. So section 28 is offenses which are being committed by the companies. So these are certain penal sections. Yes, you have to remember these sections because these are important sections. And now we are going to start the code of professional misconduct. Okay, what are its objectives and what are its principles? What are the objectives that we are going to pursue in case of professional code of professional misconduct? What are the objectives? Okay, objectives are credibility, professionalism, quality of service, confidence on provision of services. Now, why professional ethics? Why do we need professional ethics? What is the use of professional ethics? Why should all cost accountants follow professional ethics? The question is answered by these statements. Number one, credibility. Your credibility will be there in the society. Your credibility will be there in the big companies. Your credibility will be there in the government treasury, government departments, only when you behave in an ethical manner, only when your behavior is also as professional as your work. That is the first reason why professional ethics is required. So your information that you pass on to the stakeholders and your information system which you use to pass on the information to the stakeholders, both of these things should be perfect. That will render credibility to you. Credibility means, why would people trust your words? Why would people trust your signatures? Why would people trust your cost audit report which you have signed? Why would they do that? Only if you have shown utmost professionalism. Your credibility should be high. Just like your credit rating in the credit rating associations. If you have a low credit rating, CRISIL score is low, then you don't get loans. You face problem in getting loans if your CRISIL score is less, CIBIL score is less. Similarly, your credibility should be high, and to ensure that credibility is high, professional ethics are required. Professional ethics will ensure that your credibility is high. Professionalism, to make you utmost professional, to ensure that you are conducting yourself, your behavior is professional. Of course, you cannot go to a client place wearing a Bermuda and sleeveless jacket. You cannot do that. Or jeans or t-shirt is not acceptable if you're going to a client's place. That shows unprofessional attitude. People will not take you seriously. So you have to dress up properly. You have to be in a business suit. You have to be in a formal shirt. You have to be in a trouser and a formal shoes. That is required when professionalism is concerned. And even in your behavior, guys, even in your behavior, you cannot tell your client, yaar ye cost ka ledger leke aana, kya kar raha hai yaar tu? You cannot use that language, that loose language. Small talks you cannot do when you're concerned with a client. Your behavior, your words, your attire, your body language, everything should be absolutely professional. Everything should be absolutely perfect to ensure credibility, to ensure that your ethics are up to the mark. The next is quality of service. Quality of the service that you are rendering is of utmost value only when you follow professional ethics. Okay, your quality will improve if your professional ethics are good enough. So quality of service will improve if you are disciplined. If you're professional, then your quality of service will improve. So quality of service is the fourth objective of professional ethics. Last objective of professional ethics is confidence in provision of services. So whosoever wants to repose their confidence on your services, they will only be reposing the confidence if you're ethically perfect. If your ethics are compromised in any manner, then people will not trust your service. Your services will be trustworthy only when you follow professional ethics, only when people have confidence on your provision of services. Next is principles of professional ethics: integrity, objectivity, competence, confidentiality, professionalism. Okay, there's an abbreviation to it, guys. ICCOP. COP means police. Okay, ICCOP. So professional ethics is nothing but COPs for cost accountant. For cost accountants, it's police. Ethical police, moral police. Okay, so in professional ethics, we see COP. So the abbreviation is ICCOP. ICCOP is the abbreviation. ICCOP is the abbreviation. ICCOP is the abbreviation for Principles of Code of Professional Ethics. Now, what do ICCOP stand for? Integrity, objectivity, competence, confidentiality, and professionalism. What do you mean by integrity? Integrity means you have to be straightforward, you have to be honest in your communications. You don't have to beat around the bush. You don't have to mince on words. You don't have to tell double meaning words. Okay, you have to be straightforward and you have to be honest if your integrity is there. Objectivity, you should be you should be confidently saying no to wrong things. You should be able to distinguish between right and wrong. That is known as objectivity. You should be fair, unbiased, and uninfluenced. You should be fair, unbiased, and uninfluenced. These are the three qualities of a true professional. So you have to be fair, unbiased, and uninfluenced. You have to be competent enough, which means you should be capable of giving best possible service, not only in technical way, but also in presentation way. So your audit report should be technically absolutely perfect. You should be aware about the cost accounting standards very well. You should be in knowledge of rules very well. Plus, you should be able to communicate that well. Okay, not only your entire thing should be best, like your analysis should be best, but your language should also be best. So best service is required to be given. That is competence. You should have competence in whatever you are doing. Next is confidentiality. Now, this is a very, very important feature of a cost auditor. Cost auditor should not do small talks about the client to any other person. Okay. Sometimes cost auditor, just to just to flaunt his clients, sometimes sensitive information is leaked to other person if auditor is talking about his client to other people. Auditor should not talk about his clients to other people. Everything should remain confidential. Not to those, because cost auditor will be privy to many confidential information. It should not be disclosed to other people. That is the requirement. Then last is professionalism. Again, guys, you should follow the most appropriate behavior of your conduct. Your conduct should be absolutely perfect. Your behavior should be absolutely perfect. That is the requirement. So these are the principles of professional ethics, which are ICCOP. ICCOP is the abbreviation of this professional ethics principles. Okay, sir, got it? So now we move on to our next topic, and our next topic is fraud. Fraud. Okay. Now, guys, I've already told you the primary responsibility of the auditor is not to detect fraud, is not to detect any kind of errors. That is the secondary responsibility. If during the course of the audit, if some fraud is unearthed, then the auditor is supposed to report it, but he should not make a specific effort to unearth any fraud. Okay. Tomorrow, if some fraud remains undetected, auditor will not be reprimanded for it, because auditor is just a watchdog. He's not a bloodhound. He's not going to investigate on frauds and errors. But yes, if during the course of audit he comes through certain fraudulent activities, then certainly he should report the fraud to the concerned authority. Now, first of all, let us discuss the duties of the auditor with respect to fraud. Okay, the auditor should report fraud to the central government as soon as he comes to know about that fraud. So if fraud is above 1 crore rupees, then the reporting is to be done directly to the central government. If the fraud is less than 1 crore rupees, amount of fraud is less than 1 crore rupees, then the reporting is to be done to board of directors or the audit committee. Nature of fraud is to be reported, amount involved is reported, and parties involved in that fraud is reported. So these three things are to be reported by the auditor if he comes to know about any fraud which is happening in the company. Next, punishment for fraud. So what will be the punishment for the company if the fraud is committed? Imprisonment for 6 to 10 years. That is the imprisonment which will happen if fraud is detected or fraud is proved in case of any company. Next is penalty, 3 times of the amount involved in fraud. That will be the penal provision which will be applicable to the company. So company will be losing more and it will be gaining less. Okay, if fraud is detected. Then punishment for not reporting fraud. If cost auditor doesn't report fraud, then what will happen? The cost auditor is subject to penalty of 1 lakh rupees to 25 lakh rupees. That is the penalty which auditor might face if, after knowing that fraud has happened, he has not disclosed the fraud. Then a penalty of 1 lakh to 25 lakh will be charged from the auditor, depending upon how severe is the fraud. Okay. So guys, now we come on to the main functional section functional aspect of this particular chapter. And the main functional aspect of this particular chapter are, sir, what are the misconducts which are listed in the schedules of the act? What are those misconduct? So guys, the misconducts which are listed in the schedules to the act, we are studying in two parts. Part one is first schedule, and I've already told you these refer to the minor mistakes which is committed by the members or the members of the Cost Accountants Institute of India. And second schedule are the major mistakes which are committed by the members of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. So minor mistakes and major mistakes. Okay, minor mistakes will be adjudicated by Board of Discipline, and major mistakes will be adjudicated by the disciplinary committee. That these are the two adjudicating authority according to which the offenses are to be trialed or offenses are to be adjudicated. All right, so guys, first schedule is divided into four parts. First schedule is divided into four parts, and second schedule is divided into three parts. Okay, what are the four parts of first schedule? Four parts of first schedule are professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in practice. So this refers to the professional misconduct, which means while conducting the profession, what are the misconduct that will be reprimanded by the cost accountant in practice. So this is part one. Part two is professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in service. So if you have not taken a certificate of practice and you are under service, which means you are working under someone, then part two will be referred to by you. Part two will be your case. Professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in service. Third is professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in general. So part three applies to both part one and part two people, which means it applies to all cost accountants, whether they are in practice or whether they are in job. The part three applies to all the cost accountants. So these are certain misconducts which are to be avoided by both cost accountant in practice as well as cost accountant in service. So these are part three misconducts. Then part four is other misconducts of cost accountants in general. Other means personal misconducts. Okay, if in your personal life you do something wrong, which is unethical, which is immoral, then you will be reprimanded under part four. Whether you are a cost accountant in practice or whether you are a cost accountant in member, both will be reprimanded under part four if you commit any personal misconduct. And I've already told you, personally also you are liable for Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Institute of Cost Accountants of India will personally also hold you liable for any kind of misconduct which you do in your personal life. You cannot say that, oh, it's my personal life, it's my personal choice, I can do whatever I want to do. No, after becoming a CMA, you cannot do whatever you want to do. You have to be ethical, you have to be moral in all times, whether you are on your duty or whether you are off your duty. Even when you are on a vacation, then also you have to do ethically right things. These are the other misconducts which are enumerated in part 4. And guys, second schedule, which is the major misconducts. These are not the minor misconducts, these are the major misconducts. So professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in practice, professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in general. So we don't have professional misconduct with respect to a person who's in service. For them, any major misconduct is not listed in the schedule. So it is there for person in practice. It is there for people who are generally, cost accountant in general means both cost accountant in practice as well as cost accountant in service. For both, this will be applicable. And last is other misconduct, which means personal misconduct with respect to cost accountant in general. These are personal misconduct, other misconduct. Now, guys, let us see what are these misconduct. Okay, let us now see what are these misconducts. So I have come to your book, okay, and I have opened the study note schedule. First schedule part 1. First schedule part 1 is professional misconduct with respect to cost accountant in practice. So if you are a cost accountant in practice, then what kind of professional misconduct will be prohibited in your case? What kind of professional misconduct will be reprimanded by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India? That is what we are going to study now. Sir, why this isn't in our study note? Sneha, this is very much there in our study note. In the study mat of the institute also, this topic is there. And in my book, if you are referring to my book, then also these topics are there. Of course, they are there in our study book as well. All right, professional misconduct in relation to cost accountant in practice. So if you are a cost accountant in practice, then okay, one more thing, Sneha, maybe you're referring to an older version of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India book. Please refer to the latest version, which is January 2022 version of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India book. That contains all these schedules and annexures. Okay, So, cost accountant practice shall not do these things. What are those things? Allow any person to practice in his name as a cost accountant unless such other person is also a cost accountant in practice and is in partnership. So, a cost accountant practice should not allow any other person to practice on his behalf unless and until that other person is also a cost accountant in practice and is in partnership with this person. So, guys, if there's a very big cost accountancy firm, then they cannot authorize anyone to practice in their own name unless and until that other person is also a cost accountant and in practice with partnership. So you cannot lend your name to anyone else to practice cost accountancy. Pay or allow to agree to pay directly or indirectly any share, commission, brokerage in the fees or profit of his professional work. Guys, many times what happens is you approach a company and you tell them that, oh, you need to get your cost accounts prepared, and for that preparation of cost accounts you need a valuation expert. Valuation expert will charge a fees of 2 lakh rupees. Our fees is 3 lakh rupees. In total, it is 5 lakh rupees. You give 5 lakh rupees to us. We will pay 2 lakh rupees to that valuation expert. This is not permissible. What at max you can do is you can introduce the valuation expert to the company, and then company will directly pay to the valuation expert. You cannot, on behalf of the company, pay to any other expert. Okay, company has to pay to that expert directly. So you cannot share your profit with anyone else other than member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, unless and until both the CMAs are there and both of them are in practice. You can share income if you are both CMAs and both of you are in partnership in the same practice. Then you can share your profits, but you cannot share your profits with any other profession like a lawyer, like a chartered accountant, like a valuation expert. You cannot do that. You share your profit with your partners. That's it. Accepts or agrees to accept any part of profit or professional work of a person who's not a member of the institute. So guys, in the similar fashion, as you cannot share your fees to someone else, you cannot accept someone else's fees to yourself. Okay, so if we have a very big lawyer and he has a big client, and that client wants to get its cost sheet prepared, so the lawyer takes 2 lakh rupees from the client on behalf of you, and the lawyer pays to you. Not permissible. Lawyer should introduce you to the company, and then company should pay directly to you for preparation of cost sheet. Lawyer cannot be a mediator. Okay, so you cannot agree or accept to agree any fees from person who's not a member of the institute. Then enters into partnership in or outside India with any person other than a cost accountant in practice. So guys, you cannot be a partner to any other person apart from cost accountant in practice. If you want to be a partner to someone, you cannot be a partner of anyone except from cost accountant practice. So, sir, can't we be partners with chartered accountants? Answer is no. You cannot be partners with chartered accountants and do cost audit. Cannot do that. But yes, there's one thing underway, which is multidisciplinary partnerships, which is known as MDP. Multidisciplinary partnerships in future will ensure that chartered accountants can have partnerships with cost accountants and with lawyers, with company secretaries, and wholesomely they can give some service. So as of now, the CMAs cannot enter into partnership in or outside India with any person other than a cost accountant in practice. That is the norm as of now. Next. So guys, these are all part one. Okay, the misconducts which are there for cost accountants in practice. Part one means minor misconducts. Secures either through or service of any person who is not an employee of such cost accountant or is not a partner by means which are not open to cost accountants, any professional business. Again, guys, any kind of advertisement, any kind of soliciting of work is prohibited. Any kind of advertisement, any kind of soliciting of work is prohibited by a cost accountant. He cannot accept work from any third person, through any third person. So suppose if there's an agent and he gives work to cost accountant, it is not permissible. Cost accountant cannot advertise himself. Cost accountant cannot solicit work. It can only do it through his partners or through his employees. That's it. But from third party, you cannot secure any work. That is point number 5. Point number 6, solicit clients' professional work either through or directly by circular advertisement, personal communication, interview, or by any other means. Again, guys, you cannot advertise, you cannot go to a client and say that, oh, I do cost audit of so and so company, such big MNCs are there with me. You cannot solicit work using these techniques. You cannot do that. Any cost accountant from applying, provided that nothing herein contained shall be construed to preventing or prohibiting. So these are the exceptions to this general rule. General rule is you cannot solicit a professional work through advertisement, personal communication, or any circular. You cannot do that. But there are certain exceptions. Exceptions are any cost accountant can apply for professional work from another cost accountant in practice. So a cost accountant in practice can ask for work from another cost accountant in practice. That is very much permissible. A member from responding to tenders. Yes, guys, you can respond to tenders. You can respond to inquiries. That will not be considered as advertisement. That will not be considered as soliciting work, because tendering is a very common way of attaining work. So, ONGC would float a tender for preparation of his cost sheet, for preparation of his cost statements. And that tender will be filled by your CMA firm, will be filled by your cost accountancy firm, and that tender will be floated. You will not be said that, oh, floating a tender is advertisement. No, floating a tender is not advertisement. It's perfectly okay to float a tender, to accept a tender and fill it. Okay. So that is permissible. And seventh is advertising his personal professional attainment services using designation or expression other than cost accountant on professional documents, visiting cards, letterheads, signboards, unless it be a degree of university. So guys, sometimes what happens is after you qualify CMA, you write your name as CMA Nikhil Gupta, and under there you write tax consultant, or you write tax expert. Guys, this is incorrect. You cannot do that. You can only write cost accountant in practice. You cannot write tax expert or tax consultant, or you cannot write valuation expert. No, you cannot do that. These titles are not permitted as per the professional misconduct. Yes, you can do a valuation course, and after doing a valuation course, you can definitely call yourself whatever is written in that valuation course. That is very much permissible. But primarily, you cannot call yourself as a valuation expert in any document unless and until you are a degree holder or diploma holder of a valuation course or something like that. Okay, so you cannot use any other name. Next is part number 2. Part number 2 is professional misconduct for members in service, those who are doing job. Okay, if you're doing job, you're a cost accountant and doing job, then what are the things that you should avoid? Okay, pay or agrees to pay directly, indirectly, any share in emolument of employment undertaken by him. So whatever salary you get, you cannot pay part of your salary to any other person, or you cannot receive any commission from any other person for any work that is being done by you. You cannot do that. You cannot share your income. You cannot even accept your income of anyone else. I gave you the same example, guys. You are an employee of Reliance Industries Limited. Okay, Reliance Industries Limited is in requirement of a lawyer. You tell them that, okay, Reliance Industries Limited, you give me salary, along with salary you give me 10,000 rupees monthly extra. My brother is a lawyer, he will provide you services. Not permissible. You ask Reliance to pay your brother directly. You cannot be a middleman. You're not a middleman. You cannot accept any income on some other's behalf. You cannot even pay any income on some other's behalf. That is not permissible. So you pay or allow, you cannot pay or allow directly or indirectly any person any emolument of employment undertaken by you. You even cannot accept any share of someone's commission or someone's bonus or anything of that sort. That is also not permissible. Then we come on to part 3. Part 3 is professional misconduct for the members generally. Okay, generally means it is applicable to both cost accountant in practice and cost accountant in service. It is applicable to both. Okay, so what you shouldn't do, not being a fellow of the institute, you act as a fellow. Okay, so guys, soon as you become CMA, you first become ACMA, which is associate cost accountant. Okay, associate membership is given to you. Then after working as a CMA for a few years, you get the degree of FCMA, which is a senior position than ACMA. So guys, you have to call yourself as ACMA till the time you get this position of FCMA. You cannot say that I am FCMA when you are ACMA. This is incorrect. If you are ACMA, call yourself as ACMA, not FCMA. Not being a fellow, you are not a fellow member of the institute. Still you are saying that you are a fellow member of the institute. You are actually an associate member of the institute, but you are saying that you are fellow member of the institute. Absolutely incorrect. Wrong. Second, does not supply information called for or does not comply with the requirements asked by the committees or appellate authorities. So if you are a CMA and you are asked for some information about yourself, about your client, about your company or any other CMA or any other thing, and you do not supply that information, then you are also doing a misconduct. Third, while inviting professional work from another cost accountant, or while responding to tenders or inquiries, while advising through write-up or anything provided for in 6 or 7 part 1 of schedule, gives information knowing it to be false. If so, point number 2 is you don't supply the information which is called for. Point number 3 is you supply the information but incorrect information. You cannot supply incorrect information. Whatever information you have to supply absolutely perfect information. You falsify the information. That is the third misconduct. You do not give the information. That is the second misconduct. Third is false communication. Second is not giving the information which is required. All right. And the last part is other misconduct relating to the member of the institute generally. Okay, member of the institute generally, and these are other misconduct. Other means it also relates to your personal life, not only your professional life, but also your personal life. Okay, sir. You are held guilty by a civil or a criminal code for any offense which is punishable with imprisonment of not exceeding 6 months. If you are facing some civil or criminal proceedings, yes, not related to your profession, but related to your personal life. If the conviction is for 6 months, then you are covered under part 4 of schedule 1. So what will happen if the conviction is for more than 6 months? We will cover it in schedule 2, which are the major defaults. More than 6 months of imprisonment means you have committed something grave. You have committed something big. We are not going to leave you so easily. So that will be dealt with in schedule 2, which is the major mistakes which you do. But if you are not exceeding 6 months, if your imprisonment is not exceeding 6 months and you have committed something civil or criminal offense, then you are also liable to the misconduct under this provision also. So instead of cost accountants will also reprimand. You can also snatch away your degree. Okay. Yes, the criminal act or civil act will definitely punish you. Instead of cost accountants of India will also punish you further in addition to the civil law. The next is, in the opinion of the council, he brings dispute to the profession or institute as a result of his action, whether or not related to his professional work. So if any disrepute is brought into the profession, if you do anything which is against the reputation of the institute, you do anything which is against the ethics, then again, you will be held for misconduct. Okay. Whether that disrepute is due to professional reasons or personal reasons. Okay. Personal reasons will also be included in this disrepute. You do something unethical on a personal front. You eve tease. You are involved into theft. You are involved into any kind of forgery. Okay, that will also be said to be misconduct as per this particular schedule also. Now we come on to second schedule, and yes, this is the major misconduct where you are committing some major faults. That is schedule 2. It has only 3 parts. Okay. It doesn't have a separate part for people in service. So it is assumed that people in service cannot do any major fault, any major professional misconduct. Just on a lighter note, it is a way to remember. At least I used to remember it, that the people who are in service, they cannot do any major fault, okay, which is related to service. That is how I used to remember it. So part 1, professional misconduct related to cost accountant practice, and now we are dealing with major misconducts, big misconducts which are done by professionals, cost accountant practice. He discloses information acquired in course of professional engagement to any other person other than the client without consent of the client. This is known as insider trading. If you disclose any information of the client to any third party without taking permission of the client, then this is known as insider trading. It's an offense, not only under SEBI, Companies Act, etc., but also under Institute of Cost Accountant Works Accountants Act. Certifies or submits his name or name of his firm a report of examination of cost accountant and relating statement unless examination of such statement has been made by him. So guys, the person is signing the audit report, but he has not conducted the audit. Such a big offense. You have signed an cost audit report, but you have not conducted cost audit of that particular entity organization. You have attested the cost statements of a particular organization, but you have not done cost audit of that particular organization. You have not conducting the examination. Big offense. Big offense. Incorrect. Third, permits his name or name of his firm to be used in connection with estimate of cost or earnings contingent about future transactions. So guys, a cost accountant cannot vouch for future events. If an entity tells you that, okay, my current earning is 2 crore rupees, please tell me in next 5 years what am I going to earn. A cost accountant cannot certify any estimate, because estimate is just an estimate. It's just a tukka. It's just a fluke, right? You cannot sign estimates. You cannot sign any estimate, okay? So if you sign any estimate, if you give your validation for any future estimate, it is a misconduct. You cannot do that. We are people who do post-mortem. Cost accountants, cost auditors are people who do post-mortem. Once the financial year is over, we are going to prepare the cost statements. That is what we are going to do. We are not going to do any futuristic activity. We are not experts in that. Fourth, express his opinion on cost or pricing statement of a business in which he or his firm has substantial interest. So guys, we have studied in our earlier lectures that there are some disqualifications of an auditor. One of the disqualifications is an auditor cannot be an auditor if he has substantial interest in the business. He cannot be. If you do such a thing, that you are holding shares of a particular company of say 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, and still you are doing cost audit of that particular company, professional misconduct. Yes, you are doing misconduct with respect to Companies Act. Also, you're doing professional misconduct under Institute of Cost and Cost Accountants Act. Fails to disclose, mention material fact known to him in the cost or pricing statement. You deliberately don't disclose some information which is required to be disclosed in the pricing statement or the cost statement. You deliberately don't disclose that information. A professional misconduct, a big misconduct. You don't disclose the information, okay? Fails to report a material misstatement known to him. There is some major flaw in the financial statements. You do not disclose that flaw. There's some major flaw in the financial statements. You don't disclose that flaw. This is again a professional misconduct and a major professional misconduct, guys. It is not a minor professional misconduct. It is a major professional misconduct. You do not exercise due diligence. Due diligence means you do not take care. You do careless work. You are gross negligent in conduct of professional duties. You don't take care. You have not analyzed the cost statements before giving a clean head, clean sheet to the company. You don't do that. You are not taking good care while doing a professional business. You fail to obtain sufficient information which is necessary for expression of opinion. You have not obtained information while conducting cost audit, and you are giving your opinion without the underlying information. You fail to invite attention to material departure from generally accepted cost accounting principle. So GAAP, which we are going to cover in our subsequent lectures, and cost accounting standards, you do not highlight any miscompliance with these two things which are there in the cost statements. You don't highlight that. Again, a major misconduct. Fails to keep monies of the client other than fees remuneration meant to be expended in the separate banking account, or use that money for purposes which are they are not intended to within the reasonable time. So sometimes what happens is client gives you some money to be kept separately and to be used for certain purposes, okay? Although guys, best practice, you should not handle client money on behalf of client. You should not handle money on behalf of client. If client tells you that, okay, you please keep this some money, you spend it for a particular purpose, you should not do that. You should ask client to spend the money himself. But even if you take that money from the client, sometimes clients give you some advance. He can tell you that, okay, take this to 20,000 rupees, go to my branch which is located in Mumbai, for your travel, for your stay, you please keep this 20,000 rupees. Those money which is given to you by the client for your professional work, that should be spended in professional work only, and whatever is left should be returned back to the client. You cannot keep money which is of client, which is given to you for a specific purpose. You cannot keep it, or you cannot expend it for any other purpose apart from the professional work. You cannot do that. Then part 2 is for professional misconduct with respect to members generally. It is applicable for both the people who are in practice as well as who are in service. So you cannot contravene any provision of this act or regulation made thereunder. So all these professional code of ethics should be followed religiously by you. That is the first ask. Second, you are employee of a company and you disclose confidential information acquired in the course of employment, except when required by law. So either you are a employee of the company or you are a practicing cost accountant, you disclose information pertaining to the client, pertaining to the company, to third parties. So this point was there in schedule 1 as well. Yes, this point was there in schedule 1 as well as schedule 2. Why? Because if you have disclosed certain very, very critical points whose financial loss is immense, then you are going to be charged under schedule 2. If you have disclosed some minor information whose financial impact is not that much, then you are going to get charged under schedule 1. Schedule 1 minor miscompliance, schedule 2 major miscompliance. That is the difference. Includes any information, statement, return form to be submitted to the institute council any particulars knowing them to be false. You have furnished some incorrect information to the institute, either it's committees or any authority of the institute. You have furnished false information. Again, sir, this point was there in schedule 1 as well. Yes, this was there in schedule 1 as well. So this particular point is नो प्रणब, मुझे कोई सर्दी नहीं है, मैं नाक से बात नहीं कर रहा, मैं तो गले से बात कर रहा हूं. तुम्हें ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि मैं नाक से बात कर रहा हूं? क्या और किसी को भी लग रहा है कि मैं नाक से बात कर रहा हूं? मुझे बिल्कुल भी सर्दी नहीं है. हाँ, लास्ट वीक आई वाज अ लिटिल अनवेल, जिसकी वजह से आपके लास्ट वीक का जो क्लास था वो कैंसिल हो गया. बट दिस वीक आई एम परफेक्टली फाइन एंड आई एम एबल टू स्पीक प्रॉपर्ली. प्रणव काम थे. Okay, so you cannot disclose any information which is false, which is incorrect. Defalcates or embezzles money received in his professional capacity. Again, guys, you cannot embezzle. Embezzle means to misappropriate money which is received by you in your professional capacity. You cannot do that. You have to take care of the money of the client which the client gives you. Okay, sir. Then we have other misconduct related to members of institute generally, and other will include personal misconducts also. A member of the institute, whether in practice or not, shall be deemed to be guilty of other misconduct if he is held by any civil or criminal court for any offense which is punishable with imprisonment for a term exceeding 6 months. So if you are held liable for a term up to 6 months, schedule 1. If you are liable for any term more than 6 months, schedule 2. This is the major miscompliance. Schedule 1 is the minor miscompliance. That is the difference. So schedule 1 and schedule 2 respectively for any kind of civil or criminal activity which is already adjudicated by the courts for an imprisonment, that will be subject to this particular act also. Okay. So guys, these were the total points which are coming in schedule 1 as well as schedule points. So any point which comes in schedule 1 as well as schedule 2, then which schedule we should mention in the one word if that point comes. So Gyanvi, mostly the examiner will ask you the points which is there in either one of the schedules. Okay, the common points will not be asked by the examiner. Okay, but if sometimes if a question comes where both the schedules come by, there are two options. One, you can write both the schedules, second as well as first schedule, you can do that, or you can do that you can pick up any one of them. That's perfectly fine. Both the answers will be correct in that particular situation. But according to if I am the examiner, I'm never going to give a point which is coming in both schedule 1 and schedule 2. I'm always going to give you individual or some points which are there in either of the schedules. I'm not going to give you points which are there in both the schedule. That is what I'm going to do. All right, guys, before we end this particular session, please hit a like button on this video. Let's target 1,000 likes on this particular video. A like button will definitely be very, very motivating for me as well. And please do share this video with everyone. And guys, today I'm going to send you a revised schedule for the test which will be conducted for cost audit on Saturdays, which is April and May schedule. I'll be sending you the schedule today. So today there is no test of cost audit. From next week, we'll again start our test. The earlier chapters which are left, they will also be included in the new schedule. I'll be disclosing the new schedule shortly in the WhatsApp group. And if you want to join the WhatsApp group, it's available for all. Please WhatsApp on 9643 929913. And on this WhatsApp group, there is a WhatsApp group for cost and management audit and BVM SPM. There I'm going to release the schedule for test, which is there for April and May, both the months. Test will be released today, and from next Saturday we'll be starting our test series again for cost audit and BVM SPM both. All right, so that's all for this particular session, guys. We'll be meeting in our subsequent sessions. We'll be meeting in our subsequent lectures in these live sessions which are there on every Saturday. This is schedule. Till that time, till we meet next, all the very best and happy studying. Bye bye. And yes, guys, June is very, very near. Okay. June is very, very near. Please make sure that you study well. All the very best and happy studying. Bye.